travel buddies. I am just returning from the most fabulous European summer trip. So this year I went to Cannes Lions International Festival of Creativity, and can I tell you, it was everything to be desired and then some. So I spent the summer in the south of France and Italy, and I had the most amazing time. So this video, I'm gonna talk to you mainly about my trip to France, the south of France particularly. And I'm gonna tell you mostly about the festival and then a little bit about the region. I've been to this area before. It's actually one of my favorite places to visit. I love the south of France. I love the weather. I love the atmosphere. I love that there's beaches everywhere. Like every town is bordered with a beach. Well, maybe not every town. That's what I told myself the first time, because there are towns that are like northern south of France, but the major towns are all along the coast. So Cannes Lions. Cannes Lions International Festival of Creativity is the premier marketing event for everybody who works in marketing, advertising, creative, anything to do with any kind of creative or promotion or even communications in general. So every year there's a festival that takes place in Cannes, and this year I went to the festival. I've always wanted to go, but every time I wanted to go, it was either too late for me to get time off to go, or it was just not in the budget. But this year all the stars aligned, and this year I was there. I'm used to the south of France having really beautiful tropical weather. It's all breezy and nice and sunny, and just beautiful tropical weather. This year, I don't know if it was a time, because when I went before, it was around May, late May, early June. But this year I went in mid-June because I went just in time for the festival, and it was so hot. It was insanely hot, unbearable. Bearable, but unbearable. That being said, I still had a great time. I had an amazing time. The festival, oh my gosh, the festival, where do I start? Just endless beach activations all along the beach in Cannes, and it was just so much going on, but still overstimulating, but in a good way. Not oh my God, I can't take it, but it's where do I go? I felt like a kid at an amusement park or something. There was Meta, there was Spotify, there was Google, there was YouTube, there was Snapchat, there was TikTok, there was Canva, there was everybody, and then some. And I didn't even get to take advantage of all the things I wanted to take advantage of, mainly because I spent so much time trying to navigate everything and just trying to figure out my bearings of where everything is. But I've chalked it up to telling myself that this year was mainly for just learning the landscape. Next year, I'm going to be so prepared, so prepared. So day one, you get to the location and you get to the auditorium. You go register, get your badge, kind of learn the lay of the land on that day. But in order for you to pick up your badges, you have to have already downloaded the app and filled in all your information, which is what you would have used to register for the event. After doing that, they give you a cute little bag, for you to drop your little things in, and you just kind of get going on your way. Now, the program is all listed in the app, but it's also on the website. Something I learned this year, and basically I could only have learned it because I was there, was that there are people who come to Cannes for the event, but they don't necessarily purchase badges. Depending on what you're there for, you may or may not purchase a badge. I will say purchasing a pass to the event gives you so much more access to everything, so much more. There's the award shows that you want to be involved in. There's certain panels where you can only get access to that if you're wearing a badge. Now, there are other activations based on the beaches where you can just register for those events and then you're able to access those events. I wasn't aware of that. I thought that just having the badge gave me access to everything. And so by the time I learned this, some of the activations that I wanted to attend were already filled. And that's why you have to register for them, because sort of like first come, first serve, and they have like a capacity, which is totally understandable. I just kind of wish I knew this before, because I could have registered for those events prior to getting there. There were a few that I had seen on LinkedIn, like Female Quotient and Inkwell Beach, that I just happened to register for. I really didn't even know what I was signing up for, to be honest. I just signed up those and Ad Week. And I just signed up because I'm like, I'm going to be there. Like, the heck? Not knowing that these are like in-demand activations. So that's something I learned for next year, that I have to pre-register for all of these things before I get to the event. Now, Canva was one of the ones that I had already signed up for too. And that was just because I somehow got a prompt in my email. Now, they had a whole lineup. I went there like the first day. I ended up just sitting and kind of like resting because it was just so hot, and it was all the way at the end. And so I had to just kind of catch my breath before I went and navigated to anything else. And when I got there, I think there was a panel that had already ended. And so there was another one that was going to start, and there was something else that I wanted to attend. So I ended up leaving, and I didn't make it back in time, mostly because I was tired. Female Quotient, I wish that I had gotten there early on the first day. They were giving away Ferragamo bucket hats. Like, seriously. I did end up getting a bucket hat eventually from TikTok, which is really cool, but I would have taken a Ferragamo bucket hat. I'm not gonna lie. Hello, everyone. There was also Spotify Beach. There was Sports Beach by Stagwell. That one I didn't get into at all because I somehow, by the time I found out about that and I tried to register, I couldn't get in. And that's a whole nother story. And they had like really cool, events. It was a cool activation for Sports Beach. And like everybody had that fancy orange badge. And I was like low key, like, a little salty that I didn't have one, but it's cool. It's cool. There was Free Well by, I think, Comcast. There was YouTube, Google, like so many. Now, Meta Beach, like that was no problem. Your badge just took you straight in. Like you either had to have a badge or a special code to get in. There was no pre-registering. And Meta gave away like really cool, really cool swag. They gave a fan. I got that on the very first day, and I'm so happy because the fans ran out like on the first day for most of these places. So I got the fan. I got to do a couple of cool little activations. There was refreshments everywhere, and that was something common throughout the event. Like everywhere you went, there was like some kind of refreshment, for you to partake in, which was really amazing. I think, iced coffee, iced tea, drinks, like whatever it was that you wanted for the most part. In terms of the badge, I purchased a creator badge because I'm a creator. And I had access to all the creator panels. There were round tables that I got to benefit from. There were a lot of things that I did miss, I will say. Kai Cenat, Keith Lee, one of them that, I was really mad at myself, but there were just so many conflicts. And sometimes by the time you get to one thing that you want to go to, you think about coming all the way back, it just felt like too much to do. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm just not going to do this one this time. But next time I will be more prepared. I promise I will take a much more detailed look at that program and really plan out each day, because this is what you have to do to take advantage of everything. And you're not going to get to go to everything. You're just going to be able to take advantage of the things that, really benefit you for what you're trying to do or for where you're at. But it was really great. They had some really cool, panels for the creator access. And I got to meet a lot of other creators that I actually follow, which was really, really cool. Calculated Opulence, shout out to you. She was like so sweet. And can I tell you, like, seeing her in person, I said to her, I was like, oh my God, you look so much like your brand. And she's like, what? And I'm like, yes, like I immediately recognize you. I mean, not that I was expecting her to look different, but she just presents the same way. And it was, you know, she was lovely. She was lovely. I really enjoyed meeting her. I got to meet a couple of other creators too, you know, and it was really nice meeting them in that environment because it, you know, like I'm a new creator, but it just kind of felt like, you know, they're my peers, you know. And can I tell you, I was more excited to meet the creators than I was to meet actual celebrities. I did run into a few celebrities. I'll flash their pictures up somewhere, you know, but the creators were the ones that really did it for me. Like, you know, it was nice because I actually follow their work. And for me, I'm more interested in the work. Like I come from the entertainment world. I don't know. I think just working in that area for so long, like you stop fanning out over them after a while. By no means am I saying that we're peers. You know, I'm not peers with these celebrities, but I'm just saying like I've seen them so much in a regular working environment where I've had to be professional. I don't know. I don't know. Whatever. All I know is that the creators, I fanned out at the creators, and it was nice because they're just so sweet and so approachable, and you know, shout out to all of them. There were activations that took place in the daytime and parties that took place in the nighttime. Those parties I did not get to benefit from, sad to say, because I stayed in a town that was one town over from Cannes, which I knew based on my experience that it would be accessible, which it was for the most part. I didn't take into consideration that, number one, I'm not from this area. As much as I've been here before, I don't know the lay of the land. I don't know I don't know the geography of the land. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm staying in Antibes. I'll be good. They said there's going to be a shuttle. I'm not thinking Antibes is that big of a town, but it was. And where I was staying was a little bit north of everything. Lovely area, but just not convenient for the festival if you're not driving, which I wasn't. Now you could still get there. I took the bus and the train to get there, and it was easy. You know, it wasn't anything stressful. Like when you think of taking a bus or the train in the south of France, it's nothing like what you experience in the US, like nothing. So it was comfortable, it's cool, it's clean, it's pleasant, you know, and it's quick and efficient and on time, all those things. So it worked. The problem is that it stops after 9 p.m. So wherever you are, you better get to that train before the last one runs, because baby, like when it leaves, like that's it. The clock strikes 9 and you know, your clothes starts turning into rags, your glass slippers disappear. Like it might as well be that, because honestly, like it was ridiculous to get home, but I meant get back to the hotel, you know, once that was done. And still attainable, but really expensive. Like taxis are insane. Like I'm gonna get to that in a second, but the taxis are insane in the south of France. But you do have Uber that you can take advantage of, and there's also their local car share system, which is called Bolt, which I've used before in Portugal or something like that. I don't remember. I've used it before in Europe. There's another one too that I've used, and I saw it pop up, but I don't know. I couldn't get any drivers. I'm not even going to talk about that one because it's not relevant. It's not there. But there's Bolt and Uber that you can take. The problem is Uber would have been fine and Bolt would have been fine. The problem is because of the event, there was so much traffic in that area. So they were not coming. Like there was one Uber that I requested and I'm looking on the map and he's going in the opposite direction. And I'm like texting, hello, sir, can you cancel please since you're not coming? And he responds, no, you cancel. And I'm like, I'm not going to cancel because it's going to charge me. And that was like, it was there for like 20 minutes. And then I think eventually it timed out. And that's how I got to get it, which was crazy. But I learned really quickly, like, this is not gonna work. Like, next year I'm staying in Cannes. And yes, I get that it's gonna be way more expensive, but essentially what I saved on in staying in a hotel in a town that wasn't gonna be as busy, which was still relatively close and would normally work, but for the event, this was not gonna work because I end up spending it back in terms of commuting. So now I know I have to stay in Cannes next year. Like, and you have to book early because they get sold out really quickly. For me, it would have been better if I was staying much closer and I could have like taken time out during the day to just go back to the hotel, freshen up because it was so hot, take a nap. Like, I kid you not, when I left in the evenings, and I would stay until like pretty late. I'd push it as much as I could. But when I left in the evenings and I went back to that hotel, I was so beat. I did not care that I was missing out on these parties. Now, after the fact, I'm like, that would have been cool. But like, no, I was just too tired. I was too tired, So next year, I'm definitely staying in Cannes. No question about it. Going back to the event. Now, each like evening, afternoon, there's an award show for different categories of creative for marketing. In addition to that, there were like tours that you could have done. There was an area that I, wandered into where I could, view different, pieces of creative, that were entries for this year. And really cool stuff. There were some that were like prints, so you could walk through the gallery and look at them. And there were, of course, digital, video, and they had headphones for those, iPads and everything. There was also Lions University, I think, or Lions Learning. I'm not quite sure. Don't quote me. But, there were some educational stuff taking place because they do have different tiers of badges. But there was just so much to take advantage of. There was one area that I didn't find until the third day, which was called the Creative Hub. And like, that was an area that just had couches and it had plugs for you to charge your phone and you could just chill. Like, I'm like, why did I not find this before? But that being said, I found it and I was glad I found it then. Shoes. Wear comfortable shoes. Wear comfortable shoes. Wear comfortable shoes. I brought shoes that I thought would be comfortable. Now, again, been here before, hadn't wore my sneakers and everything. Like, so I was like, all right, cool. Let's get some trainers and call it a day. The sneakers that I went through the airport that I wore there were brand new, so they weren't broken in, so they gave my feet hell. And I'm like, okay, I'm not wearing this for the rest of the trip. I have sandals that I'm gonna wear. Those sandals were not made for the amount of walking that I did. I mean, no, they held up, but they hurt my feet so bad. I had blisters. I was so mad at myself. I'm like, you should not be making this mistake. But again, learning for next year, because I didn't think I'd have to do that much walking, like just in terms of just distance. It's not how often I had to walk, it's how far I had to walk. That was the problem. Like the stretch was just so long. Like I'm like stopping. I'm annoyed because the sun is like blaring on me and it's hot and I'm wearing shades and a hat and it's just insanely hot. Like I'm going to say it was hot so many times. So I was just really uncomfortable, and this is where staying in the area would have came in handy, because I could have gone home. I could have, showered, took a nap, rested my feet. Like even a short nap, would have been beneficial, because, I was tired as well, because the heat makes you tired, So I was tired, my feet hurt, I'm hot, I don't feel cute. Like it was just too much, but I had fun. I had fun. Like, despite all of that, I had fun. I would have changed like the condition and had more comfortable shoes, but honestly, I have no complaints. Like, the things that went wrong had nothing to do with the event. So, you know, just get that in your head. Get that in your head. Again, just so many things to take advantage of. I can't emphasize enough, but I also can't, like, you know, give you like the full breakdown of each thing, partly because I never got to attend every panel, but also because it would be impossible to tell you what was said in every panel. You have to be there. And so next year I'm going and I'm taking some people with me. So that being said, follow me on social media, subscribe to my blog. Like, if you want to come with me, you can go on your own. But if you want to come with me, do these things. And, you know, I'll be telling you everything that you need to know. You know, from where to stay to what shoes to wear, you know, all these things, you know, what to expect and how best to prepare yourself for this event. In addition to that, I'll also give you access to all the beach activations that you should sign up for, at least the ones that I have access to. I'll give you access to those because you're rolling with me, so I got to take care of my people, you know. Now, it's gonna be a group trip, obviously, but we'll go together, but it won't be a situation where we're staying one place or anything. I'm gonna send you a list of hotels in the area, my suggestions in terms of where to stay, and I'm going to take into consideration different budgets when I'm sending out these. But in order to get access to this, you have to follow me on social media and you have to subscribe to my blog, because that's where I'll be talking about everything, amongst other things as well. Now, the final night. Now, this is where you're going to be mad if you didn't have the pass, because they have this really big party and it's like, it's everything. And like, yeah, there's like, yeah, they pull out the big guns for this one. It's like real, like Mykonos style, like DJs, flashing lights, all of that. You know, it's so cool. Really great party. You know, the day when I got there, like, they ended up pulling me out of the regular line and putting me in a VIP line. So I got to get in really quickly, which was really, really cool for them to do that. And then afterwards, like once I'm in, you know, there's hors d'oeuvres, there's drinks, all of that stuff, you know, like, you know, light work, just for you to just, you know, just refresh, you know. But there's also drinks. I haven't been drinking really, so, you know, for me, it was, I really just worried about staying hydrated, because that was another thing. Like, I was so dehydrated the entire time because it was so hot. Now, if you're like, you know what, I've been to enough parties, it's okay that I missed the last one, fine. It's totally up to you, you know. For me, I wanted to be in that party because, again, it's just another opportunity for you to meet people and, you know, really make a connection, because that's also a big part of being present at this event. It's not just to be there and get free swag and, you know, say, hey, look at me, and, you know, selfie, I'm here, or whatever. That's all cool. But you're going to be in a place where you get FaceTime with people that you don't normally get FaceTime with, you know, within this industry that you're working with. And this is not just an American crowd. This is international. So these connections that you're making, they're like really valuable connections. So you want to take advantage of that, and you want to, like, you know, you want to represent yourself well, essentially. So again, another opportunity for you to do that. So that was really cool. The last day of the event, before I attended the event, I checked out of the hotel that I was staying in Antibes, and I checked into a hotel in Nice because I knew I wanted to spend 2 nights there just to, you know, really, again, just relax, number one, and really just take advantage of being in the south of France and visit some other towns that I've been to before that, you know, are just very picturesque and enjoyable, so I did that. One of those places was Villefranche-sur-Mer, which is just exquisite. Like Villefranche-sur-Mer, like even the name is exquisite. I love that area so much. And I think the next time, instead of staying in Nice after the event, I'll probably stay there. Fun fact, the Rolling Stones lived in Villefranche-sur-Mer at some point. I'll put when down here, but it's a really cool beach town. There's restaurants, there's beach clubs, but it's just beautiful. It's like so pretty. Like if you look at Google Maps, you'll actually see pictures of what it looks like, but even those pictures do not do it justice. Like you have to be there in person. I hung out in Nice for a bit. Nice is the main city, so there's a lot to do. Like I'd have to do a video by itself talking about Nice, but honestly, like if you're there, you're going to fly into Nice anyway, so you're gonna take advantage of being there. I also went to Menton, which it was okay. For me, it was just, for me, I like the charming cities that's like a little bit more just laid back and chill. Menton is quite industrial. Like there's a lot going on. There's restaurants and there's beaches too for you to partake in. But there was a little bit too much going on for me to enjoy. And for some reason, I just felt the sun so much there too. I went to Beaulieu-sur-Mer. Again, I'll put the names down so you can see them for yourself. Beautiful town, charming town. Found a wonderful beach that I hung out at. I wasn't prepared, so I didn't bring a swimsuit, but I rolled my pants up and put my feet in the water. A lot of the beaches along the coast there are rocks. In Cannes, there are quite a few beaches that are sand, but that's the only place I remember seeing sand. All the other beaches that I've ever been to, in that area, where be it Antibes, Nice, all of that, they're all rocks, and so is Beaulieu-sur-Mer. And Villefranche-sur-Mer, it's like sand and rocks. It's like tiny, tiny rocks, but also sand. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah. That said, bring shoes for that reason. Bring shoes that you could wear, water shoes. Bring water shoes for that reason. So I've been to Monte Carlo before, Monaco. I've been to that area before. I didn't go there this trip. I kind of didn't really see the point in going there. Like I felt like when I went before, I saw everything that I needed to see: the castle, the casino, all of that. Cool area, very expensive, made for like shopping and all of that, which is really nice. I wasn't looking to do any of those things. And it's way more laid back, way more sophisticated than, the rest of the Côte d'Azur, because, there's a certain elitism that, that's set in that area. But it's great. I think everybody should go there at least one time. The south of France is like such a beautiful, picturesque place. Like I could show you videos, you can watch other people's videos on YouTube, but honestly, like seeing videos is cool, but it really doesn't do it justice. You kind of have to be there. And in addition to that, I really like that area. I find people to be more charming than those you meet in the north. They're more approachable, they're more relaxed. I don't know if it's the year-long sunny weather, well, most of the year at least, that contributes to that. But it's like one of my favorite places, to visit, and I really, really, really encourage you to visit as well. I especially encourage you to visit around the time of Cannes Lions, because you're just taking care of two things at once by, having a vacation and then, doing a little work, you know what I'm saying? Like you're doing a little work. So you just kind of, wrapping it all up into one, tax write-off. But yeah, Cannes Lions, you have to attend next year. You should attend next year. Put it on your list. I'm here for any questions that you may have. When I was doing research about it, there weren't many videos on YouTube talking a lot about the event. I just saw a few things here and there, but you know, hopefully this helps. And if you have more questions, I'm here. Please like, comment, subscribe. Also follow me on social media, O_that's_Nas. I'll put it in the description. And also subscribe to my blog. I started an organization called This Girl Is Going Places. And essentially it's to encourage more people to do international travel, particularly Black and brown people, because we don't travel enough. Well, I do, but you know, more of us should. We need to see more of us traveling to these different places, because there's people who look like us everywhere we go. We worry that we'll feel like an outsider when we go to these places, but you'll be so surprised that that's not the case. Like when I'm in the south of France, I feel so relaxed. Like I feel like myself. I feel so free. I feel normal. Like I'm like, I could just live here. I could, like, I've said it before, you know, and I probably will at some point in my life live out there. I just gotta get better at my French, you know. But I had an amazing time, and I know that you will too when you go there eventually, like whether it's tomorrow or next year for the event. But I look forward to reading the comments, hearing from you guys, and happy traveling!